Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Tanvi Taneja and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. Centre grants permission to 20 states to raise an additional amount of over 68,000 crore rupees through open market borrowings. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the model of local economy and local enterprise will take the country forward. India's COVID-19 recovery rate at 86.78% is the highest in the world. In Bihar, notification for the third phase of assembly elections for 78 seats issued today. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad face Chennai Super Kings in Dubai. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a note of caution to stay safe and protected by following 3 simple steps. 1. Wearing face masks. 2. Maintaining 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing. And 3. Focusing on hand hygiene and face hygiene. Now the news in detail. The Department of Expenditure in the Ministry of Finance today granted permission to 20 states to raise an additional amount of 68,825 crore rupees through open market borrowings. The Ministry of Finance said additional borrowing permission has been granted at 0.50% of the gross state domestic product GSDP to those states who have opted for option 1 out of the 2 options suggested by the ministry to meet the shortfall arising out of GST implementation. In the meeting of the GST Council held on 27th of August this year, these 2 options were put forward and were subsequently communicated to the states on 29th of August. 20 states have given their preferences for option 1. These states are Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Odisha, Sikkim, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. 8 states are yet to exercise an option. The facilities available to the states who choose option 1 include a special borrowing window coordinated by the Ministry of Finance to borrow the amount of shortfall in revenue through the issue of debt. The total shortfall in the revenue of the states on this account has been estimated at around 1.1 lakh crore rupees. Permission to borrow the final installment of 0.5% of GSDP out of the 2% additional borrowings permitted by the Government of India in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, waiving the reforms condition. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that rural spending has surpassed pre-COVID-19 levels already and retail sales grew by 12% last month. In a tweet, Mr. Javadekar said, coupled with LTC cash vouchers, festival loans and additional spending announced by the government, the economy would get a big fillip.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said the historic farm laws are creating opportunities for farming and farmers to move from the role of Annadata, food or provider, to entrepreneurship. Speaking after releasing the autobiography of Padma Bhushan recipient Dr. Balasaheb Vikhe Patil through video conferencing, the Prime Minister said the model of the local economy and local enterprise will take the country forward.
व्यक्ति कितना ही पढ़ा लिखा क्यों न, अगर उसमें खेती का कौशल नहीं हो तो वो कभी खेती नहीं कर पाएगा. जब ऐसी बात है तो हमें खेती को एंटरप्राइज क्यों नहीं कहते? बाला साहब विखे पाटिल जी के मन में ये प्रश्न ऐसे ही नहीं आया. जमीन पर दशकों तक उन्होंने जो अनुभव किया उसके आधार पर उन्होंने ये बात कही. बाला साहब विखे पाटिल जी के इस सवाल का उत्तर आज के ऐतिहासिक कृषि सुधारों में भी है. आज खेती को, किसान को अन्नदाता की भूमिका से आगे बढ़ाते हुए उसको उद्यमी बनाने, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की तरफ ले जाने के लिए अवसर तैयार किए जा रहे हैं.
Citing shining examples of such local models, he spoke about the revolution that happened in the sugar industry in Maharashtra, white revolution in the milk industry in Gujarat, and in wheat production in Punjab and Haryana. The Prime Minister said a phase was witnessed after independence where there was not enough food to distribute among its people in the country. He added that during such circumstances, the priority of the government was to see how the crop productivity is boosted. He said hence the government focused mainly on what crop the farmers should produce and how to get more yield. Mr. Modi said the farmers toiled and ensured that more harvest was produced to fulfill the country's requirements. Mr. Modi underlined that while doing so, the government could not pay attention to the profitability of the farmers. He said for the first time, this mindset has changed. For the first time, the country has shown concern for the income of farmers.
देश ने पहली बार किसान की आय की चिंता की है, उसकी आय बढ़ाने के लिए निरंतर प्रयास किया है, चाहे वो एमएसपी को लागू करने, एमएसपी को बढ़ाने का फैसला हो, यूरिया की नीम कोटिंग हो, बेहतर फसल बीमा हो, सरकार ने किसानों की हर छोटी छोटी दिक्कतों को दूर करने का प्रयास किया है.
The Prime Minister said the Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana has helped farmers because of which they do not have to borrow a loan of small amount from anyone. Mr. Modi said about 7 crore women have availed loan worth 3 lakh crore rupees in recent years through Mudra Yojana. The Prime Minister also stressed on amalgamating the old and new farming techniques for better productivity. He said the danger of coronavirus still persists. He appealed to everyone to wear masks and maintain social distancing. Government today said the number of people who have recovered from COVID-19 in the country is now more than 62 lakh and it is the highest in the world. India also has the highest recovery rate of 86.78% in the world. Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan was briefing media in New Delhi this evening.
देश में जो कुल रिकवरी संख्या 62,27,295 है, जो कि विश्व की हाईएस्ट संख्या है. क्यूमुलेटिव पॉजिटिविटी रेट उसमें भी लगातार गिरावट हुई है और वो 8.07% हुई है. अगर वीकली पॉजिटिविटी रेट देखें उसमें और ज्यादा गिरावट हुई है और वो 6.24% है. और अगर पिछले 24 घंटे की पॉजिटिविटी का रेट है ये 5.16 है. तो तीनों में क्यूमुलेटिव पॉजिटिविटी रेट में, साप्ताहिक पॉजिटिविटी रेट में और दैनिक पॉजिटिविटी रेट में लगातार गिरावट हो रही है.
The Health Secretary said India continues to report a trend of steadily decreasing active cases.
कुल एक्टिव केसेस हैं, यानी ऐसे केसेस जो या तो अस्पताल में हैं या घरों में हैं, सेल्फ आइसोलेशन में, मेडिकल केयर के अंतर्गत, उनकी संख्या 9 लाख से कम चल रही है. आज 5वां कॉन्जिक्यूटिव दिन है. आज की जो संख्या है वो 8,38,000 केसेस की है.
Mr. Bhushan said there is significant increase in testing of COVID-19 and on the other hand there is continuous decline in positivity rate also. Member Health in Niti Aayog Dr. V.K. Paul said there is stabilization in the impact of COVID-19.
पैंडेमिक के स्प्रेड में स्टेबिलिटी आ रही है और मृत्यु दर पे भी काबू है. उसके साथ साथ एक कंसर्न भी और वरी भी है कि ठंड के मौसम में हो सकता है ये पैंडेमिक फिर बढ़ जाए और आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल होने की कोशिश करे, क्योंकि कोविड-19 का जो वायरस है वो एक रेस्पिरेटरी वायरस है और जो रेस्पिरेटरी वायरसेस होते हैं उनकी टेंडेंसी होती है कि सर्दी के मौसम में उनका प्रकोप कई तरह से बढ़ता है. विंटर में हमें और भी प्रिकॉशन लेनी चाहिए.
Information and Broadcasting Secretary Amit Khare appreciated media and said it has played an important role in taking the message of precautionary steps to be taken against COVID-19 throughout the country. He said the economy is opening up and the people need to take precautions.
On one hand, we have this opening up of the economy and different sectors. On the other hand, we also have the need to take precautions. In view of that, a major campaign was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister on 8th. Very simple 3 messages: wear mask, maintain safe distance, and thirdly, hand wash and face hygiene must be maintained at all the times. Now, the communication strategy that we had earlier was stay home, stay safe. Now it is opening up, but with precaution. The message is let us adjust to the new normal. The new normal is wearing mask, maintaining distance and maintaining the face and hand hygiene.
Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan today chaired the 21st meeting of the High-Level Group of Ministers GOM on COVID-19. The virtual meeting was attended by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Puri, Minister of State for Shipping Mansukh Mandavia, Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare Ashwini Kumar Chaubey and Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul. Appreciating the efforts of COVID warriors, Dr. Harshvardhan said India has the highest recovery rate of 86.78% and the lowest fatality rate of 1.53% in the world.
आने वाली सर्दी में खासकर जो हमारे त्योहार आ रहे हैं उनके अंदर विशेष सावधानी, कोविड एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर, मास्क, 2 गज की दूरी और साथ में हाथों की और रेस्पिरेटरी हाइजीन। हमारा आग्रह है कि इस पर देश के लोग ध्यान दें तो निश्चित रूप से आने वाले समय में जिस तरह से दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा रिकवरी रेट और सबसे कम फैटेलिटी रेट हमारा है, हम कोविड के ऊपर निर्णायक विजय प्राप्त करेंगे।
The Prime Minister has launched the countrywide Jan Andolan to adopt COVID-appropriate behaviours to curb the spread of diseases while celebrating festivals. In the meeting, Dr. Vinod K. Paul apprised the GOM about the process and status of COVID vaccine development in India and around the world. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan stressed on the need for aggressive testing to keep the positivity rate below 5% and the countrywide mortality rate below 1%.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Centre grants permission to 20 states to raise an additional amount of over 68,000 crore rupees through open market borrowings. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the model of local economy and local enterprise will take the country forward. India's COVID-19 recovery rate at 86.78% is the highest in the world. In Bihar, notification for the third phase of assembly elections for 78 seats issued today. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad face Chennai Super Kings in Dubai. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz ki doori to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene.
The national capital recorded 45 COVID-19 fatalities today, taking the death toll due to the disease to 5,854. 3,036 fresh cases took the infection tally to over 3.14 lakh. The fresh cases today were detected after 54,957 tests were conducted the previous day. The tally of the active cases today rose to 21,490 from 20,535 the previous day. In Uttar Pradesh, a significant decrease of 44% in the total active COVID patients has been registered in the last 26 days. Expressing satisfaction over the decrease of more than 30,000 patients in less than a month, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has asked people to remain vigilant and said that taking continuous precautions are necessary to break the chain of corona infection. More from our correspondent.
Chief Minister has asked officials to monitor the recovery rate of each and every district of the state. He said that there is need to improve the recovery rate of COVID patients in state capital Lucknow. Additional Chief Secretary Health Amit Mohan Prasad has asked people of the state to remain vigilant to avoid the second wave of COVID infection. The recovery rate of COVID patients in state has further increased to 89.92%. The graph of new patients is going down continuously from last 26 days. On 17th September, there were more than 68,000 active COVID cases in state. The number has now reduced to 38,038 yesterday. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Chief Secretary B.V.R. Subramaniam today chaired a meeting to take stock of the efforts towards mitigating COVID-19 pandemic in view of the upcoming festivities and winter season. The Chief Secretary complimented the district administration of the Jammu district for effectively controlling the recent surge in COVID cases by strictly ensuring parameter control, increasing testing in the concentrated clusters, and earnestly adhering to COVID-related SOPs. Our Srinagar correspondent tells us more.
The Chief Secretary impressed upon the Deputy Commissioners to increase the per-day testing rate for early detection of cases followed by their isolation and respective medical intervention, especially in the upcoming season of festivities and winter season. He said that in winter season, when influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory infections are widespread, it will be paramount to test all the vulnerable sections of the society for COVID-19 and prevent its outbreak. Regarding testing during the forthcoming season of festivities, the Civil Administration and the Health Department were asked to extensively collect samples from the high-impact areas like markets, offices, banks, universities, colleges, health institutions, and residential colonies with incidences of infection. Sunil Kaur for AIR News from Srinagar.
In order to prevent the further spike in the number of coronavirus cases in the financial capital, the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai has decided to strictly implement rules regarding wearing of face masks in public places. Mumbai's Civic Chief Iqbal Singh Chahal today held a virtual meeting with city police officials and traffic officials in this regard. Details from our Mumbai correspondent.
On the day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi exhorted the people of Maharashtra to wear masks, wash hands regularly and maintain social distancing, Mumbai Civic Body has authorized police officials and traffic policemen to nab and take action against people not wearing masks in public places. Mumbai Civic Chief Iqbal Singh Chahal has informed that joint teams of police, traffic police and officials from each of the city's 24 municipal wards will be formed to keep a vigil and collect a fine of 200 rupees from every offender. Mr. Chahal informed that till date the civic body has collected penalties worth 1 crore 5 lakh rupees from over 40,000 such offenders. Nisha Rani, AIR News, Mumbai.
Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayana has directed Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike to set up digital and virtual multi-speciality clinics at 27 primary health centers in Bengaluru. Mr. Narayan held a meeting with the city corporation officials today and issued instructions to initiate the tender process within a week. The new facility will provide patients the services of specialist doctors through online mode in addition to the existing services of health checkup. This will enable diagnosis by the specialist doctor and prescriptions of medicines. Each assembly constituency in the city will have one such virtual multi-speciality clinic in a phased manner. More from our correspondent.
Deputy Chief Minister Dr. Ashwath Narayana has said that it is his dream to set up such telemedicine clinics in every ward for the benefit of the citizens. The multi-speciality clinics will function on voice-based appointment schedule, consultancy on video and chat, remote diagnostics and monitoring. Its electronic medical records will be integrated with hospital management software. The project envisages that by providing such health facility to the citizens, there will be a reduction of over 60% in bed days, admissions and costs. This will also likely to decrease by 90% the emergencies such as congestive heart failure and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and ailments related to diabetes. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Tamil Nadu, the fresh cases of COVID-19 infection dropped below the 5,000 mark for the second consecutive day today. The number of patients currently under treatment or home isolation also remains well below the 44,000. The State Health Department said 4,666 people, including 1,164 in Chennai, have tested positive for the infection in the last 24 hours. 5,117 people recovered from the illness, while 57 others succumbed to it, taking the toll to 10,371. More from our correspondent.
The pace of the COVID-19 spread is consistently dipping in Tamil Nadu for the past many days. It is well evident from the factors like the daily new cases, case positivity rate, mortality ratio and the case doubling time. The quantum of testing also is seen as a strong point in the fight against the pandemic, as all the tests are being made using the gold standard, the RT-PCR kits. And the test per day is hovering around 80,000 persons a day. Continued use of masks and following other safety protocols are being insisted upon by the officials and specialists. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Kerala, 8,764 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed today, while 7,723 recoveries were also reported. 21 people died today due to COVID, taking the death toll in the state to 1,046. The total active COVID cases in Kerala rose to 95,407. This is All India Radio giving you the news.
Welcome back. In Bihar, the notification for the third phase of assembly elections was issued today for 78 assembly constituencies spread over 15 districts. Polling will be held on 7th of November in this phase. The last date of filing nomination is 20th of October. Scrutiny will be held the next day, and the last date of withdrawal of candidature is 23rd of October. So far, 123 nominations have been filed in the second phase of elections. The prominent candidates who submitted their nominations today are State Cooperative Minister Rana Randhir Singh from Madhuban Assembly constituency. Former DGP rank officer Sunil Kumar submitted his nomination from Bhure Assembly constituency as JDU nominee. After BJP, the ruling JDU today also took stern actions against its rebel candidates. The party expelled its 15 party officials, including sitting MLA D. Pahalwan, former Minister Bhagwan Singh Kushwaha, former MLA Sumit Kumar Singh and Ranvijay Kumar. Most of them are contesting against the authorized candidates of NDA. Election campaigning is gaining momentum in the first phase poll-bound assembly segments. More from our correspondent.
JDU President and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar addressed rallies virtual mode. Mr. Kumar said if voted to power, he will start the second version of Saath Nischay scheme. He alleged that the Grand Alliance has no agenda of development. Senior BJP leader Bhupendra Yadav and Sushil Kumar Modi also addressed ground rallies in support of NDA candidates. Mr. Modi claimed that for the further development, the leadership of Nitish Kumar is necessary for Bihar. On the other hand, RJD leader and Chief Ministerial candidate of Grand Alliance, Tejasvi Prasad Yadav, blamed that Nitish Kumar-led government has failed to address the problems of the state. Mr. Yadav alleged that problems like starvation, migration for work and poverty persist in the state. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
The BJP today released a list of 9 candidates for the upcoming by-elections to the legislative assemblies of Uttar Pradesh, Nagaland and Karnataka. In Uttar Pradesh, the party has fielded Sangeeta Chauhan from the Naugava Sadat seat, Usha Sirohi from Bulandshahr and Upendra Paswan from Ghatampur constituency. In Karnataka, the party has given ticket to Dr. Rajesh Gowda from Sira and Muniratna from Raja Rajeshwari Nagar seat. In Pungru Kiphere constituency in Nagaland, the party has fielded Lirimong Sangatam. The Election Commission has announced the polls for 11 Rajya Sabha seats from Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Polling will be held on the 9th of next month. The term of office of 11 members, including Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, Arun Singh of the BJP, Ram Gopal Yadav of Samajwadi Party, Raj Babbar of Congress and BSP MP Veer Singh, is due to expire in November this year. Notification for the poll will be issued on 20th of this month.
Ministry of Railways has approved 196 pairs of festival special services to clear the festive rush. These special festival services will be operated between the 20th of this month and 30th of next month. Ministry of Railways has said that the fare of these festival special services will be that applicable for special trains. The ministry said zonal railways will notify schedule of such trains well in advance. The festival services to be operated include daily, bi-weekly, tri-weekly and weekly train services. The 7th round of senior commanders meeting of India and China was held in Chushul yesterday. The two sides had a sincere, in-depth and constructive exchange of views on disengagement along the line of actual control in the western sector of India-China border areas. A joint press release said both sides were of the view that these discussions were positive, constructive and had enhanced understanding of each other's positions. Both sides agreed to maintain dialogue and communication through military and diplomatic channels and arrive at a mutually acceptable solution for disengagement as early as possible.
Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Maharashtra, Bihar and Tamil Nadu have placed requirements for over 1 lakh metric tons of tur under Retail Intervention Scheme of Price Moderation of Pulses, and more states are expected to come forward in the near future. In order to moderate the retail prices of pulses, Department of Consumer Affairs had in September introduced a mechanism to supply pulses from the buffer stock to states and UTs through NAFED. Employees Provident Fund Organization EPFO has redressed more than 1,64,000 grievances and queries through WhatsApp mechanism. The Ministry of Labour and Employment in a statement said that this has led to decline in registration of grievances and queries on social media like Facebook and Twitter by 30% and on EPFO's online grievance resolution portal by 16% since the launch of WhatsApp helpline numbers. To further enhance ease of living experience for its members, the EPFO has recently launched WhatsApp-based helpline cum grievance redressal mechanism under its series of Nirbandh initiatives. The initiatives are aimed at ensuring seamless and uninterrupted service delivery to its subscribers during the COVID-19 pandemic. This new grievance redressal mechanism using WhatsApp has gained immense popularity amongst EPFO's stakeholders.
अरे भाई सुना तुमने? अरे इस मुश्किल समय में सरकार ने हम कामगारों की मदद के लिए एक और बड़ा कदम उठाया है।
कौन सा कदम?
पात्रता के नियमों में छूट के साथ ESIC ने अटल बीमित व्यक्ति कल्याण योजना के तहत मिलने वाली राहत राशि को बढ़ाकर दुगना कर दिया है। हाँ,
अच्छा, पात्रता की शर्तों को पूरा करने वाले जरूरतमंद बीमित व्यक्ति राहत के लिए ऑनलाइन दावा www.esic.in पर करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी ESIC शाखा कार्यालय से संपर्क करें या फिर टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-112526 पर कॉल करें।
Candidates who missed the JEE Advanced 2020 due to being COVID-19 positive can reappear in 2021. In an emergency meeting which was held virtually today, the Joint Admission Board of IITs decided to permit an extra attempt for those candidates who were unable to appear in JEE Advanced 2020 on account of being COVID-19 positive. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief on the demise of Gujarati singer Kaumudi Munshi. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, her contribution in popularizing Gujarati Sugam Sangeet will always be remembered by music lovers. The Prime Minister expressed condolences to the bereaved family and her fans.
In IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings were 125 for 4 wickets in 16.4 overs against Sunrisers Hyderabad at Dubai when reports last came in. Earlier, Chennai won the toss and decided to bat first. Both teams have lost 2 games in their last 3 matches. When they met last time on 2nd October in Dubai, Sunrisers Hyderabad won the match by 7 runs. Royal Challengers Bangalore beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 82 runs in an IPL match at Sharjah last night. Tomorrow, Delhi Capitals will meet Rajasthan Royals in Dubai.
Now let us take a look at the weather updates. National capital Delhi will have mainly clear sky tomorrow. The minimum temperature will be 19 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 35 degrees. Mumbai will have partly cloudy sky in the morning hours, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening with possibility of rain or thunder showers accompanied by squall or hail. The minimum temperature will be 26 while the maximum would be 33 degrees Celsius. In Chennai, there will be generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 25 and 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The minimum temperature in the city will be 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 18 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. The city will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature in Srinagar will hover between 5 and 26 degrees Celsius. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature will be -2 degrees Celsius and the maximum around 21 degrees Celsius in Leh. Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will experience mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 9 and 26 degrees Celsius in Gilgit, while in Muzaffarabad the minimum temperature will be 13 and the maximum will be around 32 degrees Celsius. The prevailing weather system near the Andhra Pradesh coast has triggered rain in many places in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Valparai in Coimbatore district recorded the maximum of 11 centimeters of rain in the last 24 hours. The India Meteorology Department bulletin said the Nilgiris, Coimbatore and Theni districts may experience isolated heavy rain in the next 24 hours. It further says many places in the Western Ghats and its adjoining districts and 16 other districts in the state may register light to moderate rain in the next 48 hours. And now, before we end, the headlines once again. Centre grants permission to 20 states to raise an additional amount of over 68,000 crore rupees through open market borrowings. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the model of local economy and local enterprise will take the country forward. India's COVID-19 recovery rate at 86.78% is the highest in the world. In Bihar, notification for the third phase of assembly elections for 78 seats issued today. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad face Chennai Super Kings in Dubai. And for details of these stories and more, you can always log on to our website www.newsonair.com. With that, we end the evening news. Good night.